Hi everyone, this is Don Gold here, the art guy, and I want to bring you another art video. This time I want to answer the questions, what is gesso and what is watercolor ground? But I have added a bonus section on how to get the most out of your painting experience and how to paint a kind of a dreamy background. Let's go with what is gesso. If you're new to acrylics, you may be wondering what is gesso and why do you need to know about it. Gesso is an important art material used to get your canvas ready for painting, and you can buy gesso ready-made from any art supply shop. Look at the jar. Gesso is very similar to white acrylic paint, only thinner. It dries hard, making the surface stiffer. Gesso prepares or primes the surface, making it slightly textured and ready to accept acrylic paint. Without gesso, the paint would soak into the weave of the canvas. The word gesso is a noun, but some artists use it as a verb. You need to gesso your canvas. The beauty of gesso, like watercolor ground, is you can apply it to nearly any surface so you can paint on it with acrylic paint. Gesso is traditionally white, but nowadays you can buy black, clear, and tinted with colors. You can make your own tint. To either cool or warm a painting, just add your acrylic paint to the gesso. Only buy artist grade gesso, never student grade. Artist grade has more pigment, is thicker, and more opaque. The consistency and texture of gesso will vary from brand to brand. Gesso comes in both squeeze bottles and in tubs or jars like I have. The squeeze bottles, you just squeeze the gesso right onto the canvas and smooth it out with your brush. If your gesso comes in a jar, you just stick your paintbrush right into the jar and apply it to the canvas. Gesso also is available as a spray, but you should use several thin coats and then rub fine sandpaper in between each coat so you'll end up with a smooth surface. Now I know what you're thinking. You normally buy pre-stretched canvases that are pre-primed for all mediums, meaning that you can start painting as soon as you unwrap them. So why do I need to know about gesso? Well, come a little closer and I'll let you in on a little secret. What is the little secret? Well, listen, acrylic gesso can hide some serious mistakes. Occasionally there's a painting that will fight you all the way until you finally realize it is going nowhere. Bring out the gesso. Bury the mistake beneath a couple of coats. Then bingo, you have a whole new start. Knowing you can paint over something that is not working, it's slightly liberating, and I think it takes some pressure off of you. Gesso may be one of those things you do not use often, but knowing how it works and having a jar in your studio allows some possibilities that may inspire you when you're feeling a bit stuck. Now let's go to watercolor ground. For too long, the beautiful medium of watercolor has been confined to paper behind the glass. It used to be that watercolor painters had few options beyond white paper or a few colored boards. But with the exciting new Daniel Smith watercolor ground, anything you have dreamed of painting with watercolor can become a reality. It is easy to use, just brush it on, and it's incredibly versatile. Now you can paint on paper, plastic, seashells, metal, plexiglass, cloth, canvas, masonite board, aluminum, glass, or tin. Now you can turn almost any surface into a toned titanium white or black ground for watercolor painting. And guess what? They also make transparent watercolor ground. That lets patterns shine through. You can maintain the grain of wood panels or the colors and textures of decorative paper or fabric. Now here are some fast facts. Number 1, watercolor ground should be used straight from the container. It has a thick, brushable consistency. No special preparation is needed for paper, canvas, fabrics, wood, plaster, shells, or hardboard. But non-absorbent surfaces such as metal, plastic, or glass should be lightly abraded with sandpaper or steel wool before brushing on watercolor ground. Listen, when you use watercolor ground, I want you to use a soft-haired synthetic brush for a smooth finish, or a hog bristle brush if you want a more textured finish. And 1 coat is needed for most surfaces, but unfinished softwood I would use 2 coats. Allow the first coat to dry and cure for 24 hours, and make sure that first coat is cured before adding a second coat if you want to. Wash brushes immediately after use. Watercolor ground works beautifully with watercolors and thinned acrylics because it creates a surface that's more absorbent than paper. But I tell you what, you might want to use less water with your paint. Experiment and see what works for you. It also works with masking fluid, and if you're not putting it behind glass, it's going to need to be fixed with varnish. So just type into your computer Daniel Smith watercolor ground to see the various products and prices. A pint goes about $18, but it will last you a long time. So now I want to switch gears and go to some helpful painting tips to get the most out of your painting experience. They will definitely help you to be a better artist. The first one I've said before, keep it small, keep it simple, but keep it elegant. And also use lots of moist paint. Now how about this? Fewer the strokes and smaller the amount of color mixing, the fresher the painting. A good composition should have the quality of a snapshot, but with the look of a happy accident. Now here's the important point. Watercolor paper is not a passive surface. It is dynamic, it is alive, and can paint parts of your painting with just little direction from the painter. And one of the problems I see people do, the art students, is don't paint with just the tip of the brush. It will ruin the point. Always paint with the body of the brush. And don't paint with a floppy wrist. Your wrist should be firm but not rigid. Many people use too much water and not enough paint. And the next 2 tips are hard to do even for the experienced painter. Never go back into a wet wash with a watery brush, and learn to paint on the first try with no corrective brushwork. Strive for a balance of warm and cool colors throughout your painting. Finally, you have seen my artwork. It did not all come out beautifully. Learn to live with your mistakes and cherish them. Lastly, I want to show you how to do a good background effect. Many times artists use a photograph for their reference material. But because it's a photo, the camera focuses in on the main subject and the background is out of focus. It appears as a dreamy combination of trees, leaves, and sunlight. Now, you can use watercolors to achieve this effect. Follow these steps. First, select the colors for your background. Remember, you only need a smear of watercolor paint. And unlike acrylics, you can pick out all the colors you need. I would not wet the whole paper, though. Take a fairly large brush, number 4 or number 6, using clear, clean water. Spread the water in the area you want the background paint. Keep the brush for clean water only. Now, look at the paper from a low angle and make sure that it's all covered. Then dip a different brush in your selected background paint and gently touch the water, and this is called dropping the paint in. If there's enough water, the paint will spread quickly, and remember, it only goes where the water is. Drop in more colors as you paint your background, but be careful not to mix your color because it will turn gray. You may also want to tilt your paper slightly to get the paint to run in different directions. And another technique I use is spraying with a spritzer bottle to activate the paint and cause it to run. Happy accidents are encouraged. This is not an exact science. Now here's the important thing. You must let the watercolor background dry completely before you try to paint over it. And note, the more water you've added in the preparation phase, the longer it will take to dry. Remember, beautiful watercolor combinations will dry softer, paler, and duller. And you should keep notes on certain techniques that work, so next time you can paint the desired background with ease. We are done for today. I want to see you next time. We're going to do another art video. The topic is creativity tips for perfectionists. You don't want to miss it.